This is your life. Treat yourself right. Treat others right. Live like you know you should.
Hey guys, and welcome to Follower Me 111 for the week of September 27th, 2015. This is episode number 17, and my name, of course, is Sean Mudflaps Morrison. So I know on this show we take a lot of time and we go to different events, we go to different places, we show you different places where faith and fun collide. But in tonight's show, I wanted to bring us kind of in a different direction. I wanted to show you a different world. You know, it's like on the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror. Not that anything scary is going to happen and you're going to fall out of your seat and drop tons of stories and stuff like that. No. But it is somewhat unique and calls for a different kind of introduction. So, what are we going to talk about tonight? Well, we're going to talk about the deaf community. You guys know by trade I am a sign language interpreter. And what does that mean? It basically means that I go into a school every single day, Monday through Friday, and it's a regular school. The teacher gives their lesson, and my job as an educational interpreter is to listen to their message and convey it on my hands. So, I wanted to go into more of the world of the deaf because a lot of people don't really spend time thinking about the deaf people in our community. In fact, a lot of times people are surprised to hear, wow, you can actually have a job as a sign language interpreter. So that's what I want to look at tonight. What does it mean to be deaf? What is the history of American Sign Language? What are some places you can go to get maybe certified, maybe take a free interpreting class, a free American Sign Language class? What are some workshops? What does it mean? What is all this? That's what I want to talk about tonight. A land that it's not a land of shadow and substance of things and ideas, but it's a land that might be a little different to most folks. So that's what I want to talk about tonight. What does it mean to be deaf? What does it mean to be an interpreter? And how can you get more involved? So let's dive in. So the history of American Sign Language really begins with this man, with Dr. Thomas Hopkins Gallaudet. Gallaudet was a minister from Hartford, Connecticut, and his neighbor, Mason Fitch Cogswell, had a deaf daughter who was 9 years old named Alice Cogswell. Dr. Gallaudet realized that Alice was very smart despite the fact that she couldn't speak or hear, and he wanted to teach Alice how to communicate. Gallaudet had little success teaching Alice to read and to spell, but he didn't know anything about the most effective way of educating the deaf. So Gallaudet gained community support and enough money to go to Europe. Now Dr. Gallaudet went to Europe to learn the best educational methods for deaf people. You see, they already had a sign language over in Europe, and he wanted to learn, how can I get this? How can I learn this? How can I teach this to other people? And here's a fun fact that you're not going to read in most books. It was actually his hope that deaf people would be able to understand the Bible and to communicate with Jesus. In fact, even today, there are some deaf people who do not realize that they can pray to Jesus in their own language. They feel sometimes that God is a hearing God, and therefore they can't pray to him. Guys, this is where faith and fun collide, so we have to talk about the faith element, and absolutely, that's part of why American Sign Language came to the States. So while he was over in Europe, he met a man in Paris named Laurent Clerc, and he asked Clerc to accompany him back stateside. Clerc was one of Sicard's best instructors, and Gallaudet knew he would be a huge help in starting a deaf school in the U.S. So, Laurent Clerc agreed and joined Gallaudet on his journey. Gallaudet and Clerc's school, which is now known as the American School for the Deaf, was established in Hartford, Connecticut in 1817 as the first public free deaf school in the U.S. This was a huge milestone in American deaf history. The school continued to grow, and it actually led to, as you can see behind me, all this Gallaudet stuff. There's actually a huge school for the deaf, a college right outside Washington, D.C., that is called Gallaudet University. I've had the honor of going there and seeing the grounds, and it's absolutely amazing. It was actually Thomas's son, Edward Minor Gallaudet, who set up the college, along with the help of the President of the United States at the time, Abraham Lincoln. But guys, the important thing is, there was a person who cared enough to, I don't know about teaching the deaf. I see this little girl, I want to teach her. what do? I'll go over to Europe. I'll learn the language. I'll learn how do we do this. Me and my buddy will go back stateside. We'll set up a school and help people. I mean, that's 1800s. Now it's 2015, and people are still going to the school, going to the college, using a lot of the same signs, a lot of the same language. So it's pretty cool what this man did. So many of us won't be called to go overseas, learn another language, a foreign language, invent a language, come back, set up a college, set up another language here in America. You know, that's a legacy that most of us aren't going to live up to. But there is something that you guys can do. You may go and decide to take some college courses. You may decide just to start with simple American Sign Language stuff. Maybe the alphabet, maybe just a couple of words. Well, if you're looking to do that, I know of a free program where they're starting, I believe it's every Thursday, and it's going to be at Calvary Chapel, Fort Lauderdale. That's actually the church that I belong to. And they're going to have free sign language courses there every Thursday night in their discipleship building from 6:30 until 8:30. If you want more information, you can go to calvaryftl.org, look for Signs of Life Deaf Ministry, and you'll find out all the details about learning just basic signs. You know, that's one easy way to start learning how to sign, how to talk to deaf people. You know, there's a lot of deaf people in this world that are alone, that are lonely, that just would like somebody to go and talk with them. Guys, if you do meet a deaf person, absolutely try your best to communicate with them, whether that's writing down stuff, whether that's signing, whether that's whatever it is. But guys, realize this. The Bible says that God made man in his image. It also says in Exodus that God makes hearing people and God makes deaf people. We're all equal. We're all in this thing together. We all want to have faith and we all want to have fun. So I'm asking you guys, if you see a deaf person or you know a deaf person, well, go take a class. Go and learn some basic signs so that you can start a communication with somebody else. Now, if you're looking for something a little deeper, you've learned the basics, you've kind of gone through American Sign Language, we'll say 101 and 102, and you're looking to get an interpreter degree. Yes, you can actually get a legitimate degree in it. I have an associate's in it. You can also go to some colleges and get a bachelor's in it. Well, two of the best programs that I know of are in South Florida and in North Florida. So if you live in the South Florida area, probably the best school to go to would be Miami-Dade College. Is actually where I graduated from. And they have tons of, a whole interpreting training program where you can take tons of classes and learn how to become a sign language interpreter. There's also workshops that are offered down there. There's also tests for interpreters. If you need to take a test for your credentials, you can do that now at Miami-Dade College. So definitely go to their website and check it out. If you're in the North Florida area around Jacksonville, there's one of the best schools for interpreting in the country up there. It's the University of North Florida. Take a look. The University of North Florida provides a place every summer for educational interpreters to go and better their skills. It's called Summer Institute, and from their website it says the Institute will provide intensive workshops, one-on-one mentoring, and testing for certification or credentials. All workshops are free of charge, but registration is required and seating is limited. The University of North Florida is a beautiful campus. It's right there in Jacksonville, right in the midst of the city, and it's actually a very quiet, very beautiful school. So if you get a chance to, and you are an educational interpreter, absolutely sign up. You can go to their website, look under Interpreter Project, and find out how to get registered. Now, if you're not an educational interpreter and you're still into becoming an educational interpreter or any type of interpreter, I'm going to encourage you to look into UNF's program, Miami-Dade's program. There are a couple others around the state, but those are really the two best. Now, another thing that I like to do every summer that betters my interpreting skills is to go to the world's largest silent weekend. That's held at Orlando, Florida at the Florida Mall. Here's a little video I recorded on site to show you what I mean. Hello, I'm here at the beautiful Florida Mall Hotel, which you can see behind me. This is where the 36th Silent Weekend is being held. What does that mean? Silent Weekend? Well, it's a place for deaf and interpreters to come together, have meetings, have workshops, socialize, and learn more how to get along with one another in the deaf world. Now, if you have no idea about Silent Weekend, what it means to be deaf, you can look at the show notes on the bottom of the screen, and you can learn about different colleges, universities, different places where you can learn more about how to be an interpreter or to work with the deaf. So this was started 36 years ago by two people, husband and wife, Mike and Maureen Tiselli. They wanted both deaf and hearing people to come together and learn how to better socialize. Their goal was to teach and to educate about deafness. They have the best top presenters here, but unfortunately I'm not allowed to record, so I can't show you guys the presenters here. But maybe next year you can. So as you can see, Silent Weekend is a lot of fun. I actually have been going for quite a lot of years, and I thoroughly enjoy it every time I go. But like I told you, Mike and Maureen Tuselli are the two who actually started this thing, and Mike was nice enough to send in a video to be used on this show explaining more about Silent Weekend, so please take a look.
Hi, I'm Mike Tiselli, name sign Tiselli. People often call me Dr. Sign. Anyway, I want to let you know about the world's largest Silent Weekend that we have every year in Orlando. This Silent Weekend is the first venue which is known as the Language Acquisition Program for people interested in learning a piece of language. We have classes for all levels, from no skill to interpreters. Come and learn from some of the nation's top presenters. We had last year 26 days in Puerto Rico, over 400 people. Classes are also provided for interpreters to earn CU from an RID. We also provide professional development certificates. The 2016 Silent Weekend will be in Orlando at the Fleur Hotel. It began Thursday, June 23rd, and will continue until Sunday, June 26th. For more information, please go to the website floridasilentweekend.com.
So as we've already said, they have some of the best deaf presenters at Silent Weekend. One of the reasons why I really like it is because it starts, like he said, on Thursday. It goes Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then half day on Sunday. And it's basically an all-day event. You are there from, if you want, I think the first class is at 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, and it goes until 11 o'clock at night. But it's also good because you can come and go as you please. You know, I'm a person who, yes, I study, yes, I do what I need to do, but I also need to take a break. I like taking breaks, and it's really an excuse for me to go to Disney World. Like, I need an excuse if you're a fan of this show. But it's an excuse for me to go to Disney World in summer. And, you know, I don't spend all day at Disney, and that's the great thing about being an annual pass holder is when you need a break, you're like, hey, I want to go on Space Mountain. I want to go check out what's going on at Epcot. I want to go over to Hollywood Studios, catch fireworks. You can do that because it's literally close enough. So it's something that if you're in the Orlando area, you should definitely check out. Now, another thing about the event up at UNF, the Summer Institute, is it's only a half an hour away from St. Augustine, Florida. Now, if you've never been to St. Augustine, you definitely need to go and check it out. There's tons of cool things. There's tons of culture, tons of history. I'm going to show you just a couple of the photos that I took while I was in St. Augustine, going to, not Silent Weekend, but Summer Institute. So St. Augustine is beautiful, especially in the evening. You can see the sun on the trees. It's amazing. Just down the road from there is Mission of Nombre de Dios, and it is actually the largest cross in America. It's right there, right in St. Augustine. It's right on the river. It's really pretty. Now, speaking of the river, at night and at evening is the best time to see it. You can see all the sailboats. You really feel like you're in a Jimmy Buffett song. Just down the road from there, on the bridge, is a huge lion. If you ask me, it kind of reminds me of Aslan from Chronicles of Narnia. Also in that town, you're gonna find the oldest wood schoolhouse in America, and it's right there in St. Augustine, and it's basically right across the street from another thing that you want to go see, and that is the Castillo de San Marcos. It reminds me a lot of Pirates of the Caribbean, and just the type of architecture that it is. That's the great thing about St. Augustine, is all the amazing places to eat, all the architecture, all the culture, and like I said, it's just minutes from UNF. Now, what is also in that St. Augustine area is a huge school for the deaf in Florida. It's called FSDB. It's Florida School for the Deaf and Blind. I have a video to kind of introduce this, and then we're going to look at the campus and find out some of the things that are going on right there at the school. So where am I now? This is FSDB. What's that mean? It's the Florida School for the Deaf and Blind. The school is special. It's for people who are blind and or deaf. People who want a good education. You know, today a lot of students today are mainstreamed, but sometimes they need a better education. Sometimes they feel more comfortable with people who are deaf, just like them. So this school, it helps because it has deaf teachers and skilled interpreters, people who love the deaf community. This is a wonderful place. According to the website AskDeaf.com, the school is located at 207 North San Marco Avenue in St. Augustine, Florida, 32084. It says, "We are Florida's public boarding school for eligible students who are deaf or hard of hearing or blind or visually impaired. We are fully accredited and we serve students in preschool through 12th grade. The Florida School for the Deaf and Blind is the state's public school for eligible deaf, hard of hearing, blind, low vision preschool through 12th grade students. We also have a post-secondary program. There is no tuition cost to families for eligible Florida residents. It was founded in 1885, and the school awards standard and special diplomas and prepares its graduates for a wide range of professional careers and trades. Each year, over 70% of the graduating class continues their education at colleges, universities, and technical training centers. The school is comprised of two departments, the Department for the Deaf and the Department for the Blind, and career education centers. FSDB is located in St. Augustine, Florida. It is the largest school of its type in the U.S. The school has grown from 3 small buildings on 5 acres to 47 major buildings on nearly 80 acres of land. And I can tell you guys, I have been there and I have seen it by myself, and it is incredibly a beautiful location to go to school, and these kids are truly blessed to be able to go there. Now, I am currently not a parent, but I do know that a lot of parents have kind of a problem with their students going to FSDB, and that's because it's kind of a boarding school. So you have to imagine, if you lived in South Florida, if your job's in South Florida, and you have a deaf child, and your deaf child you want to give the best education to, well, that means your kid's going to have to go away to school. They're going to have to basically be in a boarding school, and a lot of parents don't want to do that. Now, I'm not here to say what's right, what's wrong. I think it's different for each person. You pray about it, you see what God wants you to do. But I will say that FSDB is a good school. You get a good education. It's totally free, and, well, consider it in your options if that is the situation that you find yourself in. According to the StAugustine.com website, The Florida School for the Deaf and Blind on Friday unveiled a walk-through time exhibit that shows the school's history from 1885 to 2015. When the school started, there was only 62 students enrolled, and today there are more than 600 kids getting an education there. So as you can see, if you live in the Florida area, there are lots of ways that you can get involved in deaf culture and deaf community. You could take a sign language course for free at Calvary Fort Lauderdale. You can go to the workshops. You could take classes at Miami-Dade or UNF. You could, if you have a deaf child and they're eligible, you could send your kid to FSDB if that's what the Lord leads you to. There's lots of ways to get involved, but guys, remember, it's all about the heart. It's all about being the hands and feet of Jesus if you are a Christian, and really reaching out to your neighbor. You know, the Bible says love your neighbor as yourself. Well, there's a lot of people who need some love out there. But I want to tell you, there is still another way that you can get involved, and that's really to pray and to donate. Now, I'm not saying donate to me. If you guys decide to give to the next ministry I'm going to tell you about, none of that money is going to go to me. There is a great ministry down in Matamoros, Mexico, and it is called Con Mis Manos. Basically, a husband and wife team decided years ago to open up an orphanage for the deaf Mexican kids in Matamoros. So here, take a look. The website for Con Mis Manos explains what they are. They're a non-denominational Christian education and outreach center for deaf children and adults in Matamoros, Mexico. It says, have you ever wanted to be a part of something that changes lives? Con Mis Manos does just that every day. We have been blessed to reach out to kids and adults with education, food, clothing, medicine, and even legal assistance. Every day brings new challenges but also new breakthroughs in the lives of our students and our staff. Our dreams are being fulfilled even though our staff is small, and we know that with continued support, the deaf community in Matamoros can be changed forever. I can tell you guys, I did a missions trip out to Con Mis Manos a couple years ago, and those kids changed my life. I remember going down there and being so amazed at what these husband and wife team were doing just to reach the deaf community where they were. In Mexico, it's not a lot like America. The things that deaf people have to go through are horrid. There's not a Gallaudet University. There's not a UNF. There's not FSDB. There's squalor. There's bad stuff. But even in the midst of all of that, there is hope, because these missionaries have made it their goal to basically adopt these kids. Let them come, let them sleep there, let them stay there, raise them. In fact, just this last weekend, one of them, who started when they were very young, now is an adult. He just got married to another beautiful deaf person. So it's an amazing thing what God's doing out there. But we still need your help. You see, they don't have a big financial backing. They don't have a big church that's giving them lots of money. It's not there. So that's where you guys come in. Now, you might see on our website, on Follower Me, on Facebook or on wherever, you might see me always trying to raise support, always trying to raise funds for this organization. I totally believe in it, and I think it's something that you guys should get involved with. So if the Lord puts it on your heart, pray and donate. You know, the kids need your prayer, the workers need your prayer. It's really not a safe area, and there's a lot of things that could go wrong, but every day God's doing amazing things, and you get to be a part of it if you want to. So I'm going to have in our show notes the website, and you guys can go over there and you can click. I also have a GoFundMe page, and you can go over there, and again, it'll be in the show notes, and you can find out how to donate to me. I'm running a marathon just to raise money and support for these kids. It's definitely worth checking out. Now, these are just a couple of the faces of the kids who either have been or are currently part of Con Mis Manos. These are the kids that need your help. They need your support. I want you guys to see that they are real people. They have real needs. They have real lives. It's hard enough being a teenager, but imagine being deaf, being a teen, and being in Mexico. They need your help. So that's going to do it for our coverage of the deaf community and how to get involved. Hopefully you guys, something will stick out to you. One thing, maybe two. Maybe it's praying. Maybe it's taking a class. Maybe it's donating your time, donating money, whatever it is. Just make sure that you're doing what God wants you to do. So, like I said, that's going to cover that for this week. But now we're going to move into our Follow Q. Guys, I want to congratulate Andre Morris for winning last week's Follow Q. That question was, what year was the first Night of Joy at Walt Disney World? Now, I was surprised. It was actually 1983. I started going, I think, in 97. But Andre, you got it right, so congratulations. I've already sent out your gift. And we're going to get into the question for this week. So guys, cue the music. Alright, the question for this week is incredibly simple. If you watch this show, if you know any deaf people, probably 700 people will send in an answer. At least I hope they will. And that question is, what is ASL? ASL. What's it mean? What? Well, all you gotta do is write down the correct answer. You can send it to me at followerme111@yahoo.com and send it to me by next Sunday, October 4th at midnight. One person, I'm going to reach into the correct answers. One person is going to win a prize. So, good luck. Now, I do want to hear from you guys. I don't know if you know this, but we are on basically every form of social media that there is. Of course, our Facebook page. You can like us over at YouTube. You can go on Instagram and look us up. You can go on Pinterest. You can go on Tumblr. There's bunches of ways that you guys can reach out. And if you ever have a question, you ever have a comment, you ever want to add something to the show, you have a tip, you have something like that, hey, let me know about it. I want to hear from you. All that stuff you can find by just simply typing in followerme111. All the websites, all that social media jazz, we all have the same title, followerme111, to make it simple for you guys. Well, like I said, that's going to do it for this week's show. I want to thank you guys for spending a little bit of time to learn what it means to go where faith and fun collide, and this week it includes going into the deaf world. I'm going to challenge you guys, do something, step out of your comfort zone, go out and be a blessing to somebody else. You guys, thanks once again for watching this show. Have a wonderful week. God bless you. Good night.